the bell is still ringing from when they hit their stride in the 1960s. We had 100 years of Jim Crow in this country. We had 244 years of enslavement of black people. And then we had 100 years of Jim Crow, lynching and violence against black people. And when people your age got to be the age you are right now, they stood up and broke the back of Jim Crow in 3 years and ended apartheid in America. That's what your generation did. And people like to act like it was old people that did that. I want to be very clear with you. Dr. King, who we celebrate. Dr. King, who we have a national holiday for. Dr. King, who we admire so much, was only 24 years old in Montgomery. He was 24 in Montgomery. Young people move America forward. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the young people who did the sit-ins and the freedom rides that began to break the back of Jim Crow. Average age, 19. It's young people that move the country forward when their numbers are large enough and when they are organized properly. You are the biggest generation of Americans we've ever had. You are the most racially diverse generation of Americans we've ever had. In your generation, you have the wisdom and the genius of all people. You have every race in this generation of Americans. You have every faith. You have every sexuality. You have every kind of gender expression. You have the wisdom of the entire human race in one generation in one country. You also are the most technologically savvy, the most connected. You're the most ecologically conscious. You're the most politically aware and involved. In other words, you represent the potential for change. You represent the potential to make America what we told you it was going to be when you were little kids, talking about a land of liberty and justice for all. Finally, that can be achieved by your generation. So, of course, people who want to keep America on the wrong path are going to do everything that they can to prevent you from having the tools that you need, having the jobs that you need, and having the opportunities that you need to make America in your own image. And I want to make a case to you that you have an opportunity to do something extraordinary. And the alternative is you're going to have something extraordinary done to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
You're either going to be run over, or you're going to have America won over, to your point of view. Here is your opportunity. As you graduate off a cliff, as you graduate off a cliff into the worst economy in 2 generations, you can either become the economic casualties of your country or the economic heroes and sheroes of your country. Your generation is going to have one fate or the other. You don't get to do the middle ground. You will either be the economic casualties or the economic heroes and sheroes. Why do I say that? I say that because you are about to be faced with a potential nightmare scenario. A potential nightmare scenario. Here's your scenario. You're about to be living in a country that is getting more and more racially diverse, more and more culturally diverse, more and more socially diverse, but potentially less and less economically prosperous. More racially, culturally, and socially diverse, but less economically prosperous. Now, if you've done your homework, you know that in history, that is not a recipe for a common ground. That's a recipe for a battleground. And unfortunately, there are people in your country who see that scenario, and they have a solution. And it is a frightening solution. It is a negative solution. Their solution is attack the diversity. So you're right, Van Jones. We are getting more diverse, and we might get less prosperous. Therefore, attack the diversity. Attack the immigrants. They're the problem. If If we didn't have the immigrants here, everything would be just fine. Attack them. Attack the Muslims. They call God Allah. That's why everything's going on. Attack the gay folks and the lesbians, the bisexuals, the transgender. Attack them. You see? So they want to get married. And we know that if the gay people start getting married, then the straight people have to get divorced, right? Because there's only so much marriage to go around. And they're trying to take it for themselves. I mean, insanity. But these are the people who want to run your country into the ground. I say no. Don't attack the diversity. Your generation proves the diversity is not a problem in our country. In fact, the diversity is a solution and can be the solution to every problem that we have. Look at your genius here, the creativity that will come out of this very diverse gathering. No, don't attack the diversity. Protect the diversity. Restore the prosperity. That has to be your generation's agenda. To put America back to work so we can pull America back together. Put America back to work so we can pull America back together. And the great thing about it is if you take up this cause, if you take up the economic struggle, fight for the tuition, but also fight for the jobs for people once they get the degree. If you take up that fight, you get to create something extraordinary, because every cause needs a constituency. Your generation is having its economic future flushed down the toilet by people who would rather cut your future off than tax a billionaire. They call themselves patriots. They're trying to protect billionaires from having to pay 1 penny more, and they'll flush your whole future away in order to do that. The same people are flushing your environmental future down the toilet. Rather than make these big polluters that are making the planet pay a penny, they'd rather cook the earth and leave you with nothing. You are the constituency that America needs to turn the corner. When you stand up and just demand simple fairness for your generation, if you would just stand up and say, not only do we want to go to school, we want to also be able to leave school and work, you can turn America around. Just like those students who sat in, they know what they were doing. They were just tired of being discriminated against. And they sat in and they changed the social system. If you just stand up and say, where's my job, America? I went to school, America. My sister got A's. I got B's. My cousin got C's. All of us are going to the same couch. All of us are going back to the same couch, America. Where's my job? Where are the jobs for my generation? We can't find work. Is all the work done? Tell America that all the work is not done. Tell America that you are Kennedy kids. You're Kennedy youth. Kennedy said, ask not what can be done for me. Ask for what I can do for my country. This is the first generation of America that you can see in the polls. You want to serve America. You want to help your community. You want to be a part of the solution. Y'all young people today, you give you a rake. Y'all don't just rake the leaves, you go make a community garden somewhere. Y'all can't be stopped. I know you. Give you a book, you want to read it to a child. We can't stop you. Give you a solar panel, you're putting up on somebody's house. Calm down. No. I love my country. I want to do something. Give me a chance. That's who you are. Now, to have a generation your size saying all the work is not done in America. We got schools falling down. We got roofs that need solar panels. We got empty lots that can be growing food for children. If your generation stands up and insists that it has a chance to give back to this country and to do well by doing good, you create a constituency for change. and I encourage you to do so. You should be asking for a clean energy core. So anybody in your generation who wants to be helping to repower America can do it and get those skills and put up those solar panels and make those wind turbines work and spin to repower America in a clean way. You should be fighting for a veterans corps. You got your cousins over there dying overseas. They're the military battleground. And then they come home to an economic battleground and nobody wants to give them a job. That's wrong. You should stand against that. You should stand up against that and say treat these young veterans right and give them an opportunity to be a part of the solution. You should. I heard somebody made a proposal, and I want to close by saying if you do this, I think you make history. Just go to these big, what do you call them? Elected officials. I don't want to. Elected officials.